Hi, this is Lou, welcome to our channel, and in this week's video I'm going to be playing with watercolour again, and I'm going to be painting some really simple patterns using repetitive mark making, and this week I'm focusing on hoops and loops. So let's get started. So today I'm working on individual sheets of watercolour paper. This is cotton paper, but this could work in a sketchbook as well, and it can work with whatever paper and watercolours you have. I've added water to all of the colours in my pan and this random kind of dark colour that I've got already mixed up in the palette. And I'm just going to take my brush and dip it into one of the colours and draw a little circle. While that's still wet, I'll take my brush, dip it in a different colour and draw another circle next to it. Each circle I'm drawing in maybe 2, maybe 3 strokes. And for this I'm using a flat brush, so it's kind of got a square end to it and it's got a consistent width. I'm hoping that will give me nice even circles as I paint them. And I'm working quite slowly and carefully, but I want to make sure that I keep adding circles while the one next to it is still wet, so that I get a consistent blend across all of them. And I'm being quite mindful of the shape I'm creating and trying to keep all of my circles roughly the same size. Though that's a bit of a tricky thing to do. It's why this exercise can be quite useful. If you wanted to draw a grid, and make each of your circles fit within a square of the grid, that would give you a really even square, and it might help you with keeping all of your circles the same size as well. As I get towards the end of my line, I'm trying to work out how many circles I can fit in. It looks like I can get 2 in, but it might be a little bit squished, so I might have to make them a little bit narrower than the previous ones, just to make sure I can fit them all in. As I keep going, I keep adding more and more colours. Sometimes I go straight from the pan, and then sometimes I add them into the palette. I can create new colours by putting 2 colours next to one another and allowing them to mix in the palette, and that gives me a nice variety. So I get a nice variety on the page where the colours blend, but I also get a nice variety in the palette where the colours bleed together. So for this row I'm really focusing on those warm colours and seeing how they all blend together. But then later on I'll go back to the cool colours, the blues and greens, to make sure I've got a nice even variety across the page. Now for this exercise I want to use all the colours in this little palette, but you could do this really well with a limited palette of colours as well, and that will give you just a slightly different look. But I really like exercises like this for finding out how different colours work together, which colours sit next to each other really nicely, and which colours in my palette I keep reaching for more than others, because I'm obviously more drawn to those tones at the minute. So I'm going to keep painting these little circles. They remind me of fruit polos and I'm quite enjoying them. I'll speed up the video, put a little bit of music in the background. But do stick around or fast forward through it if you're bored, because I've got a couple of other ideas using these same hoops that I think you might like. So as I'm coming up to the end here, you might notice that my last row of loops are a little bit longer because I had a little bit more space than I really needed in my square, but that's okay, I don't mind too much. They also got a little bit squished and moved around a little bit as they got towards the bottom of the page, but mostly I was able to keep to the grid shape and I'm quite happy with that. For this second project, I'm doing exactly the same thing, and I've got the paper taped up in exactly the same way. The only difference is that I'm using a much bigger brush. The last one was 3/16 of an inch, and this one is 3/4 of an inch. It's a little hard to see what I'm doing because my hand is in the way of the camera, but for this technique you really need to use the brush really upright. And I'm making the same circles as I did before. This time, in order to fit enough in across my little square, I'm needing to overlap them quite a bit. That should give me some interesting colour blends where the colours meet. You can probably see I'm only going to get 9 circles in this painting. So I'm going to have to be careful about which colours I use. Make sure I get a nice variety across the 9. What I am trying to make sure is that I get really nice central circles to these loops. The outsides of them can meet and blend as much as they like, but I'm trying to make sure that the central circle is nice and round. And where I don't feel like it's quite the shape I want, I can go over it again a little bit, just put a couple of extra dabs with the brush in those places. Again, my bottom row is a little longer than the others, but because I've got a tape around everything, I should end up with a nice kind of contained square. So I want to do some mark making on this one, but it's going to take a little while to dry. So while it's drying, I'm just going to work on another one. I've taken a little break from painting and my palette's dried out a little bit. So I'm just going to re-wet all of my paints and the areas in the palette that I want to use. And for this one, I'm going back to my small brush. It's still the flat brush, the one with the square end. And I'm going to make the same hoops with it. For this one, I haven't taped the edges. I have put a couple of tiny little pencil marks in where I think my kind of limits are going to be, just to give me an idea. And I want to make much bigger loops. Again, I'm doing them in kind of 2 or 3 strokes and trying to keep them as round as possible. Tidying them up if I feel like they need it. And then what I want to do here is to paint lots of different size hoops and loops around the page, but allow them to overlap one another. So I should get some nice interactions of the paint where it crosses areas that are still wet. I know that I run the risk of going over some areas where they're drying a little bit too much and I might get some kind of more like solid marks in there. But that's okay, I don't mind that too much. Oh, that green circle was not very circular. But that's okay, I'm just going to keep going. Again, I'm using all of the colours in my palette. And I want to think about how they're going to interact. So I can put similar colours together. Like this dark green next to the mid green. And keeping similar colours together should mean that I get a nice kind of harmonious finish across the piece. It goes from warm pinks and reds in one corner to kind of cool blues and greens in the other. Again, I'm going to speed this up, carry on painting my hoops, and I'll catch up with you at the end. So as I reach the end, my loops are getting smaller, and I'm dotting them around a bit more, just trying to fill any gaps that I can see and make the space look interesting. So my big hoops have dried now, and I can do the satisfying job of peeling away the tape. I do end up with some straight edges on some of these loops because of the tape, but I think I prefer that to having them kind of going everywhere. And now I want to add a little bit of embellishment. So I've got some acrylic markers, these are Posca markers, and I've got them in lots of different colours and a few different sizes. And I'm just going to pick some that I think are complementary to the colours in each section and try and make different types of marks and doodles in each one. So for the first one, I'm echoing the hoops by adding some more hoops. For the second, I'm adding some tiny little white dots, doing it quite randomly, and I've got to make decisions about what happens with the areas where they overlap. So I just decide to put the dots in some areas and not in others. For this one, I'm doing little orange triangles. I felt like it needed something a bit angular and a little bit different to all of those round shapes. It becomes a little bit of a challenge to think how to change it up in each section, but changing the scale of a pattern usually works. So here I'm doing the same dots as I did in the white, but this time they're much bigger and you just get a different effect. I've tried to keep the pens that I'm using roughly the same as the colours that are on the area underneath them. But it does mean that you end up with some areas where the pen marks are very subtle. So I'm using yellow on this lime green, and yeah, they're hardly noticeable. One final area, and we'll do some wiggly strokes in red on this kind of rusty brown colour. So I hope you have fun painting these. That's really all they're intended to be. It's just a bit of fun, some play and some exploration. So as you go away and paint these, be thinking about what would happen to your pattern if you changed something, if you changed the size or the scale, if you changed one of the elements that you're using to make it. How would it look different? And what would the outcome be? So thanks very much for watching today. I hope that you've had fun, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, bye bye.